You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, my goodness. This completely sucks. I'm not going to lie. You guys know I am a Michigan fan. All hell has broke loose in that program the last 2 weeks. We've got the shit stain of the tenure of Sharon Moore in a dark cloud hanging over the program until we're able to sort of hire another coach, which is going to sort of part the clouds and put us on a path to, get the program back in order, the entire program back in order. And my number one guy to have been able to have done that was Kenny Dillingham. And it looks like he is going to be off the market. This just broke. It is breaking right now. Arizona State is finalizing a new contract with head football coach Kenny Dillingham, sources tell On3. The 35-year-old head coach has been tied to the Michigan opening over the last week. Now, every time I've talked about him, I've said, he came out on video the other day, didn't sound real confident in staying with Arizona State. People were saying that he was at an Arizona State function yesterday. And look, what these college coaches do is they play one job against the other and try to get the current program to pay them more money. Well, that sounds like that's exactly what Dillingham did here. Dillingham signed a new 5-year deal a year ago, but sources have told On3 that this new agreement includes significant commitment to resources, specifically on roster payroll and assistant coach salary pool. That was going to be his big difference in going to Michigan, was they were going to give him a deeper pocketbook for offensive, defensive coordinators, special team, all these guys, these coaches, and NIL money. Well, Arizona is saying we're going to try to do that for you as well. The Sun Devils are 22-16 in 3 seasons under Dillingham, set to play in the Sun Bowl on December 31st against Duke. Arizona State finished the regular season 8-4 with starting quarterback Sam Leavitt missing 5 games due to injury. I mean, that's impressive because I think there's a lot of people that believe Sam Leavitt will be a future NFL quarterback. So, I mean, going 8-4 is impressive. Like I said, he was the guy I was pulling for. Now, to the guy I'm not pulling for. And even though I'm a Michigan fan, I tell you guys, I tend to root for Alabama. I tend to follow Alabama. I love Nick Saban. And I can't stand Kalen DeBoer. I can't. I don't feel like he fits the program. I don't feel like he fits the SEC. I don't feel like he fits the region. I've said, he might have actually worked better at Michigan, being a more northern school, kind of like Brian Kelly. But I don't want him at Michigan. I don't. All right? And last night, he pulled a victory out of his ass. It looked like they were getting destroyed by Oklahoma, and they pulled out a hell of a win. This may have closed the door on him to Michigan. All right? I see a lot of Michigan fans that are excited about this guy. Okay. I mean, we'll see. I can tell you, if you ask me, would I want Kalen DeBoer or Brian Kelly? I'd probably tell you Brian Kelly, to be honest with you. Which might shock a lot of people, but he had a lot of success with Notre Dame and his previous school before that. I just felt like he wasn't a fit at LSU. Matt Campbell would have been my guy too. So you're seeing this right here. DeBoer's Alabama Crimson Tide flipped their opening round college football playoff game on Friday night, turning a 17-point deficit into a 34-24 victory at Oklahoma. Michigan fans watching, hoping for an Oklahoma victory, and DeBoer to flee Tuscaloosa for Ann Arbor, went through a wild one. A tied loss would have at least given DeBoer the time to listen to what Michigan's had to say. Come on. We're finding out they've already had talks with everybody, basically. Let's not act like they haven't talked to Kalen DeBoer, or at least Kalen DeBoer's agent. And while there's no word of an actual contract offer extended, the prevailing belief behind the scenes is that DeBoer was the Wolverines' top option. Could DeBoer still entertain Michigan's offer while pivoting his attention to January Rose Bowl? Sure, anything is possible. But it's more than likely the Wolverines will pivot. Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham remains and looks and sounds the part these days. Well, he's off the table. We just learned just now. So Pete Thamel came out last night. Quote, sources tell me Michigan officials remain convicted that they want to attempt to hire Kalen DeBoer. The result of tonight's game is going to factor heavily into that pursuit, as the Alabama loss makes the logistics to attempting to hire DeBoer much more tenable. Look, Kalen DeBoer said publicly this week he'll be coaching in Alabama. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even. I saw that. I saw his comments, and they went in my one side of my ear, right out the other. Just because you don't trust college coaches, okay? You just don't. So, of the candidates that hasn't been either re-upped or possibly staying, Eli Drinkowitz of Missouri and Washington's Jed Fish kind of look like the other two guys. I got to be honest, I'm a little intrigued by Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. You know, I mean, what he's done to win at that program, it's pretty damn remarkable, to be quite honest. You know, I mean, that was a place where you just did not win football games, generally speaking. It's starting to feel a lot like Jed Fish, I think. Which, look, DeBoer or Jed Fish? Kind of like Jed Fish more, mainly because he's got ties to the program and his ties to Harbaugh. And, you know, I don't know. There's something about DeBoer that has always, even when he was Washington's coach and they had the success, he had Michael Penix Jr. there, all right? He's got Ty Simpson. Look, Penix Jr., NFL quarterback. Ty Simpson, he's probably going back to school, and he should, but he's going to be, I think, a good NFL quarterback one day. You know, what happens when your quarterback's down a little bit or whatever, you know? When he was originally hired to Alabama, I just sort of cringed. I was like, God, this guy does not feel like a fit there. Now, above everybody, I'm really, really pissed. And I understand Michigan probably can't compete because of Phil Knight. I'm pissed they're not going all out after Dan Lanning. Because word has it, if Kalen was to take this Michigan job, Alabama is going full steam ahead to get Dan Lanning. Well, God, what the hell are we doing? If Alabama thinks they can get Dan Lanning, then why aren't we going all out to get Dan Lanning? That would be my guy. And in fact, if I'm an NFL team, I'm sort of looking in his direction too. I'm surprised and I think I heard the other day that they think his name may start percolating in the next 3 years, something like that. But there's so much money at Oregon, you know, donors, booster. When you got Nike behind your program, funding everything, I mean, it's hard to compete. Tell me what you think. Man, we lost my candidate. Shit, that sucks. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.